Hello, fellow gamers, and welcome to the Video Gamers Podcast. Sometimes the best part of gaming is just chatting with your gaming buddies about the latest news, upcoming game releases, or having a dumb gaming-related conversation like which video game world you'd love to live in. It's the fun, lighthearted chat that gamers know and love, and that's what we do in our side quest episodes. Before we get into the show, though, some introductions are in order. I am your host, Josh, and joining me, he's looking a lot better than he did the last time we recorded, or at least he hasn't thrown up in his trash can yet. It's Ryan.
I got commitment for the pod and commitment for our listeners, dude, and our viewers. I'm here for the team. That's what I'm here for.
People don't know this, so we can say it now, but when we recorded our Call of Duty Black Ops 6 episode, you had the stomach flu that was hitting you, I mean, at its peak when we started recording that episode.
Oh, yeah.
And you soldiered through like a man of the people, like the professional you are. That's no joke. You literally threw up in your trash can like as we were recording, but you did it. Man, I was impressed, man.
I'm like a soldier, man. I pushed through.
Yeah.
I pushed through. Yeah, all those gamer dads out there, just be careful. Your grimy little children, they're just full of germs.
Kids are germ factories,
full of germs, man. You just got to watch out because they'll get it from anywhere, and you're just attacked from all angles.
Yeah, well, you got it from your son, so that's proof right there. But I don't think I listened to that episode, and you could not tell, but I knew the struggle that was going on inside your body during that.
I was choking back the whole time. It was pretty good. I'm actually proud of myself.
I'm proud of you too, man. It was, and I had to watch the events unfold there.
It's like when you're like, you really got to go to the bathroom and you're almost home. You're like,
oh man, it gets even worse.
Yep,
yeah,
like,
that's
at
your
one
body
point,
knows. Man.
You think, like I'm gonna pee in my car. I'm about to piss my pants in my car, and then you're like, nope, I can go. Come on, here we go. I can make it.
I'm not gonna make it. Oh man,
but we're here now. I'm feeling 100%. We're good to go.
You look better.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, as good as you can.
Well,
look
yeah.
But
well,
yeah. So.
There's a level, I can only get. It's capped for sure.
Oh man, there's a reason that we don't do video around these parts. So, oh man. Well, this is a Squadcast episode. What do we wait? Side quest. Squadcast. Some people might know what those are.
Something cast.
Sidecast. Side quest.
There ain't no news. That's what we're saying.
There's no news at all. We looked. We scoured the interwebs for any kind of gaming news, and there was none. So we said, you know what? Let's do what we love to do, and that is just chat video games, chat upcoming releases, answer stupid questions. I have a little game of this or that planned for us.
Love it.
So we're going to have a good time. One of the things we love doing on an episode is reading a new review that comes in, and we have a new review that came in from Vincent! And it's titled, My Favorite Everyday Podcast. And it says, this is the most amazing podcast ever. If I'm working out, boom, Video Gamers Podcast. Driving to work, boom, Video Gamers Podcast. Grinding a game, boom, Video Gamers Podcast. This is easily the best podcast for all ages. It took me what felt like forever to find a good podcast that doesn't swear. I would fully recommend you listen to this podcast if you like gaming, dads, and funny. Miss you, Paul.
Oh,
I love the love for Paul that is happening, man.
Well, he's a lovable guy. You can't.
He really is.
Can't forget
really
him for sure. But also, I just want to say, boom! That was one of the best reviews ever.
Boom! I like it. We always say we're going to read the reviews verbatim. Last one we read, it even said, please read while recording. And I read that part on there. And then the, maybe the not so great chicken cross the road joke too. But hey, we always say you leave the review, we're going to read it. So, but also if you haven't left us a review, please take the time to do that. If you're on Spotify, you can rate us 5 stars. We are 20 ratings away from 1,000.
Yes.
Ryan, 20.
We're so close.
I know. We're going to have a little party when we hit that 1,000 mark there. And if you're on Apple, you can leave us a written review and rate us 5 stars at the same time. Ryan, let's get into this one. I'm excited for this episode, man. We got some fun questions. We got some game releases to talk about.
Let's do it.
But we always start off, as gamers do, with a simple question. What have you been playing, Ryan?
Oh, wouldn't you like to know?
I would like to know, because it ain't been nothing with me, man.
That's because I'm playing with good people who can play zombies.
One night of zombies, and all of a sudden I don't get invited
He's
back.
out.
I see
Kick
how
him
it
out.
is.
No, we've been playing. We're gonna deep dive Veilguard, so we've been diving into that. Obviously, getting some time in there. We're gonna save our opinions on that for the deep dive, but. I wandered in this little place called GameStop earlier last week, and hadn't been there in a while. Saw a relic to an older, better time. It was just a giant Halo memorial on the front window that was sun bleached and just destroyed, but it was so awesome and just got me some nostalgia immediately. Walked in, remembered why I didn't go because I looked around and looked at all the prices, but I bought Hogwarts Legacy again. I've been just itching to play it. I only have it on my PC. I wanted to kind of hang out on the couch with the kids. They've been wanting to play it again, and they've been talking about it. And we watch Hogwarts Harry Potter all the time. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go pick it up. I'll pick it up used. I couldn't find any on any of the sites and whatnot. So I picked up a used copy from GameStop. Saved like $30 and installed it. And me and my son have just been grinding. My 8-year-old son, watch out, Voldemort, because this fool, all he wants to do, and he keeps calling it the abracadabra. Dad, I just want the abracadabra curse. That's all I want. I want the abracadabra.
This is why we get along so well, man.
Yeah, and I'm like, bro, we're going to get it. We're going to hit up with Sebastian, and we're going to get all these evil curses, and we're going to smoke everybody. They can't handle this flame, brother.
Yeah,
so
they can't. And it's so great, man. That is such a good game. And one of my favorite games of 2020.
And on my big TV out in the living room, flying around, I just sat and I was like, because I remembered what you said about just flying around in the broom.
You're making me miss it.
I'm like, dude, this is just such a pretty game. It's so fun. And so, yeah, we're back into that, no holds barred for sure.
Also, my GME stock thanks you.
Yeah.
For patronizing a local store.
My part of the cause, man. I'm just contributing what I can.
Good for you. Good for you. Dude, I can't remember. I think the last time I was in a GameStop was when I took my kids to the mall and we were just kind of wandering around and there was a little one at the mall. And it was weird because it was like half games and then just half like Pokemon and Funko Pops.
It's just, it's a lot of Funko Pops and merch and stuff like that. And then they'll have little game stuff here and there. But yeah, it's different. It's definitely not the same as it used to be.
Yeah, that's for sure. I have been playing Veilguard, Dragon Age Veilguard.
For sure.
We're going to save our thoughts. I will say I have a lot of thoughts on this game. And
spicy.
I can't wait to share those with the world. So a little teaser there, but we'll have that not this coming Monday, but the Monday after, because we just started playing a few days ago. But I'm 10 hours... a little over 10 hours in already.
Nice.
So I think a quarter of the way through the game at this point. I still got a ways to go, but yeah, I can't wait to talk about that one. I love these polarizing games.
Yeah.
Where it's people either seem to love it or people seem to hate it. And, by no means are we experts. We're just two gamers that have been gaming our whole lives. But, and our opinion counts for nothing, as far as that goes. But it's fun to give that opinion sometimes. And when we see these games that are polarizing, it always makes me wonder, I wonder what side I'm going to be on.
Yeah, exactly.
And then as I'm playing it, I go like, oh, okay, I'm on this side.
Yep. When you see these just bold, strong opinions about something, you're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. Let me check it out. Who knows if they're fabricated to create that enticement. But it's always fun.
I will say this. One of the things that I absolutely love, and I hope that the listeners love about this podcast, is we always give our honest opinion on something. We are not afraid to pull punches. We are not afraid to hype up a game if we really love it, and that. So, but we have never and will never do the clickbaity fake rage or fake praise type thing. Because I see that all over social media nowadays, where it's like, a certain group of people hates a video game, so then there's the other group of people that love a video game, and they feel like they need to war with each other.
Yeah.
And it's like, if they love it, they feel like they need to praise it 18 times a day. And if they hate it, they feel like they have to diss on it 18 times a day. And both of those seem so disingenuous to me, because it's like, we love games, man. And when we love them, we tell people we love them. But when we hate them, we'll tell people like, yo, this game kind of sucks, man. But it's just two guys with opinions. But it is fun to kind of put those out there. But one of the things we always do is explain the game, which is one of the things I love about it, because even if we don't like it, it might be a game that's good for somebody else as well. So that's why I like our deep dives, because we really do get into kind of the nitty gritty on those. So people can make their own decisions on something.
For sure.
Speaking of games, Ryan, we've got a few releases happening this week.
We do.
Now, we have a major release coming up in just a couple weeks by the name of Stalker 2, but we're not talking about that on this episode.
Soon enough. I'm so excited.
As much as I wanted to bring it up,
I'm so excited.
As I wanted to talk about it, I was like, dang it. I'm sure that'll come up next week for sure. But this first one, I gotta give a little shout out. We love our community. We love the gamers that we interact with all the time on our Discord server. If you are not part of our Discord server, you are missing out. There's a link in the episode description, but we have had a lot of new people sign up lately. And I love it because we just get to meet more gamers and hang out with them and chat with them and stuff like that. So this game is actually a kind of nod to one of our new community members by the name of Santar.
Yes,
because
very
he
active.
keeps mentioning Battle Aces,
Yes.
and I kind of went, I remember seeing this game. I can't remember anything about it, but they have been bringing it up repeatedly. They were super excited, and they even mentioned this morning that this game releases Thursday, which is November 7th. And so I went, man, I need to refresh my memory on this. And this is a real-time strategy game, very akin to like StarCraft, for instance. But it looks like it has stripped out all of the fluff and the base building and the micromanagement of resources and all that. And instead what it does is it gives you a whole bunch of units that you can go after and you can build. I'm sure there's requirements for those, but it basically looks like a real-time strategy game that focuses more on the combat than it does on the base management and resource management, which I love the idea of, because I suck at real-time strategy games, man. I'm so bad. It's like, I've said this before, I'll be focusing on my base and like, ooh, if I go over here and I get this Vespian gas and then I get these crystals and I do this and that, and next thing you know, some dude's wiping my base out within the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So Battle Aces looks to solve that issue with just simplifying the actual like base part of it. You can build units almost instantaneously. You can work for different tech trees and things like that. Did you watch this video on this?
I did. And two things. The first one is the way they described it with just the combat and how it was kind of seamless. It may work for some people, but it said there's not a lot of clicking. You don't have to click a million times when you're attacking. At that point, I'm like, I'm out, bro. If I'm not playing an RTS and I'm not clicking 4,000 times, it's not for me, man.
Are you like, really? You like that?
I love. Okay, there's two things that like are just kind of nostalgic that I have to play with mouse and keyboard, and it has to be just massive nonstop clicking. Diablo 2 and RTS games. If I'm not doing extensive base building, material management, and all those things on an RTS, or I'm not just clicking 4 million times, it doesn't feel like the right game to me. So it may work. Who knows? I may try it and like it, but I'm the opposite of you. Like, I love getting all my minerals, getting everything set together, making a massive base, getting all my defense set up, getting an army, getting all those things together. Managing all those things at one time, maybe it's just good for my ADHD to like have 4,000 tasks, but that's what I love in a game. So taking that away is like that's the fun part. So I'm sure a million people will love it, but for me, like that's the things that I enjoy. So
I can't, if I like a good thing for me is I'll build, let's say 10 guys, right? And I'll put them in a little horde somewhere, and then I will completely forget about them. And then by the time I come back to them, they got wrecked by like some other army and I wasn't even paying attention. Or I get the notice that they're under attack. I switch to that. I try to do the little back and forth fighting thing. I usually die. And then I forgot which base or outpost I was working on, and I just can't juggle that many things, man. So yeah, this game looks really good to me. I think it does seem to showcase and focus on those engagements and how you kind of micromanage those engagements. I mean, the video that I saw this morning, the guy was using like a blink ability to stay just outside of range. They were kind of poking each other and things like that. But I think this game looks really good for a genre that's not really up my alley. I think it looks like it offers an awful lot. So that's called Battle Aces, comes out November 7th. It is a beta release, so I don't know when the official release of this game is, but it looks like they're pretty far along.
Yeah.
But, you know, we respect and we listen to the people in our community when they start really hyping up a game. And again, Santar's been hyping this up forever. I will say I think it looks really good, so I'm curious to see more about this one. Ryan, I don't know if you've heard of these guys. Little tag team duo named Mario and Luigi.
Who?
Mario and I'm pretty sure that's Luigi. And they have a game coming out called Brothership, which I think maybe is mothership misspelled. But
the cash cow mothership for sure.
Oh man! All right. All joking aside, Mario and Luigi Brothership. We covered this game when it was announced. It releases fully on November 7th, so Thursday is a big day for games. You know, this looks to be a pretty good game. The review on IGN came out and it was not good at all. Yeah. It was a 5 out of 10. We've seen on like Metacritic, it was at like an 80% though. So I'm going to say on this one, I'm not sure I buy into the IGN review. But I know my wife, who loves Nintendo games and who loves Mario games, is very excited for this one. So she has already pre-ordered it to pick it up from Target on Thursday morning.
Oh, nice.
Any interest from you on this game? I mean, it looks neat. It's the first Mario and Luigi IP that's unique or new to come out in like 10 years. So I feel like Nintendo would feel like they have a lot riding on this. But what are your thoughts on this one?
Oh man, personally for me, I'm probably not too interested. I was reading a lot of stuff. I kind of dove deep into it, if you will. A lot of the stuff was saying it's more for a younger audience. It just got a lot kind of boring for a lot of people, seasoned Mario vets. So it's just something that it's got to be pretty substantial to draw me out of the kind of reads to come play a Mario game again. They're just never been my big thing, but I'm sure some people, you know, are going to absolutely love it. If you're just a hardcore fan, you're going to absolutely love it, but it's just not one thing that's going to, you know, get me kind of back into the Mario world.
Yeah, it's very rare for me to get excited and pick up and play a Nintendo Switch game. I mean, I'm just mostly a PC gamer. Nintendo games generally are a little bit more simplified, in my opinion. They just don't really do it for me in a lot of ways. Now, that is not a slander against Nintendo or Nintendo games at all. It's more just I don't like playing on the Switch. My wife absolutely loves it. So it's almost like it's kind of her console. And so if I start wanting to play something on there, like I remember when Metroid Dread came out and I picked that up and I was playing it and she was kind of like, what are you doing? Like, why are you playing the Switch? And I was like, well, I'm playing this game. She's like, but that's mine.
That's my system. What are you doing?
And we have heard some of our community get very excited for this game. I am curious. I know she's very excited for it as well. So I'm happy that there's something coming out for the Switch that has people excited for. And again, that releases today, the day this episode comes out. And then there is another game. I'll be honest, I didn't look into this one too much until I saw it releasing November 8th. And that's a game called Metro Awakening, which is a VR title. Now, I watched this trailer, and my Quest 2 has a nice thick layer of dust on it right now because it hasn't been used in a while. But dude, the Metro games are usually pretty good games. They're very atmospheric. And this game actually looks pretty good, man. Like, it actually got my attention. Reminded me a little bit of Half-Life Alyx with a little bit darker, more sinister twist to it.
Sure.
You know, it's in the tunnels, like the Metro tunnels, that same setting. Looks creepy as anything. There's aliens. It's a kind of like a first-person shooter VR type game. I thought this looked pretty good. What did you think?
I thought it looked good, and it was just another reason why I just hate my body and myself and my brain or whatever it is that causes this motion sickness, because I'm like, oh my god, this looks so freaking sweet. I want to play it. And I know I won't be able to.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same way.
I know there's no way I can play it. I got a buddy that just picked up a Quest, and he's hitting me up. He's like, dude, let's get on. Let's play these games together, or this or that. He's going to play Batman and whatnot in VR. And I'm like, dude, unless it's stationary, I can't do it. My brain just goes, bro, what are you doing? You're not moving. Yeah. I instantly get the stomach flu again, and I just want to throw up. So it's just one thing that I can't do. But this looked so cool. And if you have a VR, if you don't get motion sick, like, I would definitely check it out.
Yeah, Metro Awakening, it looks really, really good. I'm very curious to see kind of what the reviews on this one are too. It's just tough for me. I'm with you. I get motion sick. I can handle teleporting, but man, in a game like this, where it's very atmospheric and stuff like that, teleporting feels a little like unimmersive, I guess.
For sure.
So,
yeah, it's going to take everything out of it, for sure.
All right, well, that's about the only game releases that were worth mentioning. If there was one you were looking forward to and we didn't bring it up, I'm sorry, but it looked kind of bleak other than these few. We're going to take a short break, and then, Ryan, we're going to get into some fun little questions that we're going to answer here. So we'll be back in just a minute. All right, Ryan, we're back. We're getting into some fun questions, and you know what? Let's just start off with this one.
Oh, here we go.
What's the meanest thing someone has ever done to you?
Oh, my days. I told you I wasn't going to talk about my ex-wife on the show.
Yeah, that's okay. It's a safe place, Ryan.
It's a safe place. No, okay. So I have one that, a lot of crazy stuff has happened in my life, but I have one that I just remember that was intentionally done to me. And this is in, early 2000s, probably 02, 03, something like that. I'm like, 13, 14 years old. I was a skate or diehard skateboarder. My favorite skater were Rodney Mullen and Eric Costin. If you played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, you know Eric Costin for sure and Rodney Mullen. So I was told by a bunch of kids at my school that the local skate shop was having a bunch of pro skaters there to sign skateboards and design stuff like promo merch stuff. I'm like, sweet, Mom, can you take me? Drive me down to the skate shop. Let's go. We go all the way down there. There's no tents, no signs, nothing around. I walk in, I'm looking around, and I ask them, I say, hey, where's everybody at? When's the event happening? And they looked at me like just deer in the headlights. And I'm some 14-year-old little kid. And they got me so good because the guy just was like, no, what are you talking about? And I felt so embarrassed. And I walked out. I walked back to the car with my mom. And I was like, don't leave yet. There's nothing going on. And the next day at school, they roasted me pretty hard. But yeah, and it was more of, I was just so sad. I'm like, I was so excited to meet these guys. And they were like my heroes at the time. And it was completely, not even like they were there and they left, or it was just, I couldn't get a signature. There was nothing ever going on. And I was just fooled. I was bamboozled, I say.
That's me. I feel bad for you, man.
Yeah, it was pretty messed up, man. Kids were mean back in middle school, or I forget which, middle school or high school, one of those.
Yeah. For me, it was, I actually told this story on this podcast.
Oh, this one's good.
My wife and I'm not going to tell the whole story. I'm just going to say, if you really want the full story, you can look it up. It's called A Quick Take. It's Josh's Florida story. But my wife and I got a job as a dolphin trainer down in Florida right out of college. It was my first career job. We moved down to Florida, but we had to get a place sight unseen. We moved down there. We were supposed to have this apartment place reserved. We showed up. We can't find it. After finally talking to people in the neighborhood where this was supposed to be, we find out that it's this trailer that we had driven past that was run down and actually had a tree growing through the middle of it. And this trailer wound up being this lady's house. She had put up a plywood wall in the middle of it to wall off half of this rundown trailer. And she said, "Oh, that's your apartment." We went, "No, it's not." She said, "Yes, it is." We had already forwarded our rent and deposit money, and this was straight out of college, so it was all the money we had in the world. It turned into this giant fiasco with the cops involved and kidnapping involved and all that stuff. I mean, the lady tried to trap my wife and I in the place. It was bananas. I don't have time to go into the story. Again, you can just search it. It's called Quick Takes Josh's Florida Story. It is nuts. It is 100% true. But for me, that's the one that stands out because this was like the worst of the worst human that was just taking advantage of somebody that knew that we didn't know what this place was or what it looked like. And she knew that we had to send the money to her, like up front to reserve this place. And it just wound up being, it was a very, very bad like week in our lives. It ultimately turned out great. So there is a happy ending to the story, but yeah, that's the meanest thing because this lady was nuts. And when we went back to ask for the money back, she was super rude. I mean, yelling and screaming at us and just, I think she was like legitimately crazy. But yeah, that was, I remember being shocked about like, how can a human do this to like another human, man?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And if you guys haven't heard the story, I really, really recommend listening to it because regardless of like gaming aside or anything, is a really quality story. Josh did a really good job on the episode, and it's pretty intense. It's wild, so you got to listen.
Yeah, and I wish I could say any of it was made up, but it's not. This all happened very, very much so in real life. So, all right, Ryan, I love this question because this is a hard one, and I'm sure that after I answer it, an hour after we record this, I'm going to be like, oh, dang it, I didn't think of that game.
Yep.
What game would you say has the best combat in it? And that can be any kind of combat. So that choice is up to you, whether it's a shooter or a hack and slasher or something like that. Combat is somewhat subjective. So, but for you, what game has the best combat?
So I had a few that immediately came to mind, and I researched. I did some kind of looking around at games that I enjoyed combat, what other people thought. And I settled on probably my top 3 is going to be Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, very good.
Especially if you throw it on hard. That combat is just so satisfying and crisp, and the assassination, linking, and stuff that you can do in that game is just awesome. Second to none. Love it. And then hand-to-hand combat, Arkham games. Like,
that's a good one, dude.
Cruising around in the Arkham games, dude. It's just you feel good every punch and kick and throw and all those things. So those things are just so satisfying. And then another one again, Jedi Fallen Order is my third.
That was another really good one, dude. The lightsaber combat in that game is probably some of the best lightsaber combat I think I've ever seen.
Yep, with the abilities and then throwing the lightsaber or doing different attacks or bonus stuff. And those were my top 3. It was hard to pick. There was a few shooters I thought of, but I just kind of went with like mainly just kind of base combat stuff, and those are the ones that really came to mind.
Dude, those are great choices, and it's weird because I agree with you on all 3 of those, and none of those are ones that came to mind for me at the same time. So for me, I'm going to say, I'm going to do kind of like you did. I'm just going to say 2, and I'll throw in a third honorable mention on one of these. So for me, Elden Ring, I think is hands down. There's a reason that people love the Dark Souls games. Elden Ring to me is the pinnacle of, you are in charge of what happens to you. It's not unfair. It just requires you to be on your game. The timing for dodging and parrying and when to attack and when to retreat and stuff like that is second to none. So for me, Elden Ring stands out as kind of the first answer that my brain came up with. And then another one for me would be like Doom Eternal. I've mentioned this game a ton. The combat, the shooting in Doom is literally like a ballet. It reminds me of like John Wick, like the movies, where it's like you watch it and you just go like, there's something special about how they go about this. And for me, Doom Eternal is that game where it just becomes this ballet of destruction and a dance and how you approach the different enemies and dealing with the hordes that are coming after you and stuff like that as well. I'm going to throw out Remnant 2 once again for just the boss combat, though, because the boss fights in that game are probably the best I've ever seen. And the fact that this game throws boss after boss after boss at you, and they're all so unique and interesting, and the mechanics and everything is just polished to a T. It doesn't feel unfair. It feels challenging, but it's just top notch in how you approach that as well. So those are my 3.
I want to say it's still weird to me, like with how much praise you give Remnant 2 and then everyone else I've talked to, it doesn't have more like global praise. for
it's
like
one
a
of those
game.
But look at our community. That like,
Yeah.
I've been talking about our Discord server, but look at people that have played it. And
they
like,
always
you
say
hear
it's
people,
amazing,
and they all come back and they say, "Dude, that game's great."
Yeah.
Like I haven't heard a single person say it was all right.
Yeah, they all love it.
Again,
Everyone.
It's fine. That game's not going to be for everybody, but for people that have tried it, they all go like, "Wow, Josh was right. This game's really, really good." And I'm not taking credit for the game being good. I just mean I've been shouting it to the world because this is one of those games that I think deserves more attention because it's just that good, in my opinion. So, all right, Ryan, we're starting to go long, but you know what? Let's get into this. We got the little game of this or that.
Oh.
This is without context. You have to pick one of these. We're going to fly through these fairly quickly because, again, you don't have to explain your answer. You just have to pick one of the two. And if you feel like you need to explain why, that's okay, but that's not the goal of this. So let's start with this one. Avowed, which comes out in February, by the way, or Stalker 2, which releases in 13 days.
Oh, Stalker 2.
I'm going to say Avowed on this one.
Yeah.
As hyped as I am for Stalker 2, Avowed is that like RPG that I'm hoping is going to be like the next Skyrim.
Enjoy your disappointment.
I know, man. Shh. Don't say that. All right. Next one. Old school MMO or old school arena shooter?
Arena shooter, baby. Give me that Coliseum, brother. Let's shoot them up.
Give me Quake. Give me Unreal
Yeah.
Tournament.
Oh,
As much
yeah.
as I love MMOs, the arena shooter days were so much fun, man.
Yep.
Omni movement or Fortnite building?
As far as what we don't like,
there's no context. You just have to pick one.
Well, I'm giving context. Fortnite building is the stupidest thing on the planet. So if you're a builder and you just want to do your big mouse in a circle or a figure eight or whatever you do to build those monstrosities, get lost. Kick rocks.
So you're picking Omni movement?
Yeah, Omni movement is better than building, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, there you go. I'm picking Omni movement too.
Yeah.
I hate the building. I hate both of these, but if I had to choose one of the lesser of the two evils, I'm going with Omni movement. All right, quality remake or slightly disappointing sequel?
Oh man, I'm going sequel. Because even if it's slightly disappointing to a game that I want, like I wanted it to be a 10, an 8's an 8. Like an 8's still a good game, so...
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on this one. I want new content that might not be quite what I was hoping for, but it's still new content and it's still quality. It might just not live up to the original.
Yep.
But I'll take that one every time. Battle Pass or paid DLC?
DLC, baby. Give me more game.
That's it. I'm exactly that way too. A quality one would be the DLC for Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty.
Yeah.
I'd pay for that game twice over to have that content again, whereas a battle pass is usually just cosmetics, and I could care less about that. Curved monitor or larger flat monitor?
I'm rocking 2 beautiful giant Samsung curved monitors now, and I'm going curved.
As much as I love my giant 48-inch OLED TV monitor thing that I have, there's something about having that curve that really is nice as well.
You're in a cockpit, baby.
I'm going with the curved monitor, even if it means I have to get a slightly smaller one. All right. A remake. Oh, okay. Remake any one of your favorite older games or get a sequel to one of your favorite newer games. Now, this is kind of similar to the other one, but you get to pick which game would be remade and know that it's done really well.
Yeah, that's, again, it goes to the same thing. I don't mind. I'm not a graphic snob like somebody, so I can replay old games and not have too much of a heartbreak over it. I'm going with the new content, new sequel. Give me another Elder Scrolls or another Red Dead, like not in 15 years, and I'll be happy.
All right, I'm going to contradict myself on this one, and I know people are going to be like, but it's the same question, but it's not, because I get to pick the remake and know that it's going to be really good. So I'm picking remake one of my favorite older games, and I'm going with the Twisted Metal games.
Oh, that would be pretty sick.
I'm so hungry. I am so hungry for a really good car combat game. I don't know why we can't do it in the last 2 decades, it seems like. But if I had that choice, I'm taking that one over
He's
like
looking
Cyberpunk 2.
Looking at you, Rocket League people, make a combat car game.
Dude, they could.
Yeah.
They could.
They got all the,
you
the setup,
Oh, man. Just give me Twisted Metal again. All right. I love this one. Own a hover bike from Star Wars or a grappling hook like in Halo Infinite.
Bro, I want a hover bike. I can go everywhere.
This one's really tough for me because like being able to just like grapple up and it doesn't rip your arm off like it's a function, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
But a hover bike to where I can just ride over water, the ground, like jump and stuff. I'm going with the hover bike too, man. Oh, it sucks so bad. Can I trade my hover bike in for a grapple hook if I don't like it?
The technology is a lot closer to a grappling hook than a hover bike. So
I know.
You can probably get a grappling hook pretty soon. A hover bike, we're ways off.
Yeah, I want both. All right. In that kind of same vein, be able to double jump or dash.
Dude, think of how easy Christmas lights would be if you could double jump. Right? Gamer Dad, this is to you
just
guys.
Jump and then flip up onto the roof.
Boom, jump up onto the roof. Just put up the lights. You're good to go. You can get in and out on your lights in 45 minutes. Sit down, have some eggnog, and watch Christmas Story. Or
does this also mean if you fall, you can jump before you hit the ground and soften the landing?
I sure as heck hope so.
I'm going with double jump too.
Yep.
Dang it, the dash would be pretty cool though, man. Like if you could just dash like 3 meters, just
what are you going to
like
use
9
that
feet
though?
away?
Like what are you gonna just dash?
I don't know. Shopping in the grocery store, man. Think how fast you could shop if you could just dash everywhere. You know, flag football. You're the world's greatest flag football player ever.
True. This is true.
I'm going to be in the NFL. All right. Only game on a Nintendo Switch or only be able to play games on your couch.
Oh, couch for sure. I mean,
yeah,
we grew up couch co-op, couch gaming. Like that sounds tenfold better than just only being able to play on the little Switch.
All right, Ryan, you saw this question before we started recording and you instantly groaned and you said, I hate you, Josh, because I know this is directed at me. So I really want to hear your answer on this one. Tell everyone who asks you for help no, or have to complain to the manager every time you eat out. Ryan is visibly squirming right now. People can't see it, but this is making him crawl, man.
This is the worst because I want everybody to like me. I want you to think I'm great and awesome, and I want to be there for everyone. Mostly out of generosity, but I also same thing at a restaurant. I don't want to upset. Everybody's just there trying to work. I don't want to upset their day. Most people are just trying to do their job. If something happens, I don't want to be the guy to complain and, oh, this is this or this is that. Man, this is hard. But what I'll say is more often than not, anyone that's asking me for help, I genuinely or generally kind of know. So I would rather not disappoint them and leave them hanging or stranded than to upset a random manager because I'm upset with my food or my service or something like that. So I'm gonna go with that. I would rather complain to the manager, as cringy as that makes me feel.
Wow, you jerk.
Call me Karen, man. Or Ken or whatever you want to do.
Jerk. Gonna complain to the manager every time you eat out. Wow. Yep. Now I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm the same way, man. If somebody asks for help and like their friends or you know who they are, like I can't just leave them hanging, man.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I'd rather tell the manager like, hey, the food wasn't that great, or the waiter sucked, or I don't know, something. But I agree. As I'm not saying I would relish either one of those, but yeah, you got to take care of your peeps. So, all right. And then Ryan, we always like to end with a food question. I had to think about this one. This one was actually kind of tough for me, but what is the most disgusting thing you have ever eaten?
This one's really hard. I have 2 or 3. And I'm still undecided. Can you go and then I'll decide as you're talking?
Okay. I had to think about this because it's like I've accidentally eaten like an entire bowl full of like cereal that had like clumpy rotten milk in it. And I didn't know because I never got sugar cereal when I was a kid. So I just thought it tasted funny. I have eaten this was not that long ago where we got lunch and I got like a grilled piece of ham. And the ham tasted a little funny, but I didn't realize it till I was like halfway through that I think that ham was like legit rotten. And it was like, it left this taste in my mouth that I swore I couldn't get out for like 3 days. But then I was like, that was kind of a one-time occurrence. And, it wasn't so terrible that I didn't eat like 4 bites of it before I was like, something's wrong with this. I am going to say liver. My dad used to love liver and onions.
Liver
when I was
and
a
onions,
kid.
baby.
Dude, I can't. I literally went and saw my parents like yesterday, and we had this conversation about liver and onions because my dad was like, he still loves it, and I'm just like, I cannot think of a food more gross than eating liver. And I can, to this day, I have not smelled cooked liver in probably 30 plus years.
Oh,
and
no.
to this day, my brain still like recoils at the thought. And so I'm going to say liver is the grossest thing I have ever eaten in my life at this point. And I'm a fairly adventurous person. Like, I'll try a lot of different foods just to see what they're like. But dude, just the smell of liver is, I don't, if you like liver, come let us know what you like about it. Because I can't fathom that a human being actually will eat liver and go, this is delicious. I'd rather eat liver over pork or beef or so. No, you won't. You don't want that. You're eating it because you got it cheap. You know what I mean? Vitamins. Or your dad made you eat it. Yeah.
Oh, brother.
Did that help you out at all, Ryan?
I didn't. No, not really. Because mine, man, the few I have, they're not, I wouldn't say disgusting. Most people wouldn't find them disgusting. And then corn dogs.
Oh my goodness.
I know. This is what I'm saying. Here's the deal. No, listen.
About rotten milk.
Yes.
The spoiled
here's the deal.
ham.
I hate going to get my wife coffee because I hate the smell of coffee, and I know everyone's going to freak out about that. That's the best part, blah, blah, blah. I hate the smell of coffee, and I hate the smell of corn dogs, and just the smell makes me, right away. Corn dogs, I love hot dogs, I love cornbread. Put them together, it's like kryptonite for me, man.
This is the creepiest thing.
It's the craziest thing. It is what it is, man.
What it is.
It is what it is, brother. I remember going through elementary school, like lunch line, and going as I walked through, just trying to get through to get to like the little frozen crappy pizza or something, But yeah, sorry everybody. Corn dogs are horrible.
Also, setting myself a reminder to leave a box of corn dogs on your front porch.
Oh, they got to be cooked. They got to be cooked because that's what sets me off. Is that
aren't they all cooked? I mean, you buy frozen corn dogs; they're already cooked.
Yeah, but I can't smell it if it's frozen.
Oh, you mean okay? So it actually has to be the smell of a cooked corn
fresh,
dog.
Fresh, beautiful corn dog.
Now, what about like funnel cake? Like if you're at the fair, you're smelling all the fried food, the funnel
like fry
cake,
bread and
corn
stuff
dogs.
like that.
Yeah, but I mean, corn dogs are getting cooked in with all that stuff.
I guess it mixes in a little, but it's just the combination of like the water dog with the cornbread and oh man, yeah. Yep. All
right,
I'm gonna get some hate for it, but it is what it is.
Oh man,
that's just the way I am.
I did not expect the answer to the most disgusting thing you've ever eaten to be a corn dog, but here we are. And with that, we're going to end this episode.
Yep.
So, listen, thanks for joining us, everybody. We hope you enjoy these kind of nonsense episodes. They're a lot of fun to do, but we love doing them for you because this is what it's about for us, is just talking video games with friends. And, just kind of staying true to that as well. So we hope you enjoy these episodes. If you did, please remember to follow the show. If you're using a podcast app, you want to click that plus button, that follow button. Make sure that you do that. It helps us out immensely. And then you get our episodes the moment they release as well. You can follow us on social media at Video Gamers Pod on every platform. And if you have been listening to the show for a while, or maybe this is your first episode and you went, dude, I got a new gaming home. This is great. Number one, welcome. And number two, if you want to go the extra mile and help support the show and keep this content flowing, you can do that over at multiplayersquad.com. You can sign up for as little as $5 a month. You can cancel at any time. That's fine. Like, we appreciate the support, and we also get that not everybody can contribute financially all the time, but it really does help keep this show going as well. So that's it for us. Ryan, I'm off to go play more Veilguard. And then we'll be back in not this Monday, but next Monday with that review. I'm excited for this episode. That's going to be a good episode.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
I can tell you that right now. So, all right, that's it. Until next time, happy gaming.
See ya!